What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to take a look at one of my first games on the newest patch, and it's a little bit chaotic. We are playing as Wonder Waddle, so we get to take a few liberties to try out some new things on the new patch, which is great. We're going to be taking a look at Baba Yaga as a mage, and we're also going to be taking a look at the newly buffed up Embiggening Stone. That's really going to be what fuels a lot of our power this game, but we find some other ways to just get powerful here. Speaking of which, we played against Sharebear on the first turn, so that gives us 4 gold for turn 2, which is enough to pick up Wizard's Familiar, free roll into a golden chicken. So really strong start here to be able to pick up 3 animals. That'll kind of get this all going nicely, and we'll start to look for some pairs on our next turn. Unfortunately, we attack first, so we don't get to slay with Kitty Cutpurse, but we do find a pair. None of the units that we already had, but we get to take a pair of goats here, and it's basically free to just take these, skip the treasure, free roll, and then see if we can find another animal. And we find 3 blind mouse. That is pretty good, or we find 1 blind mouse, and that's pretty good. That'll potentially let us grab a tier 4 treasure early on. One thing that I do consider here is selling the golden chicken just to roll for more blind mice while we are only seeing tier 2 units in the shop. I don't think that that is a horrible idea, but I'm not going to go for it this turn. We see that the Fates has slayed 3 times with Polywoggle Mad Mim, so interesting thing there. They get to double slay against us. I'm sure they're not too upset with that. They just have a bunch of tier 3 units, and I'm not sure what they'll do in future turns, but maybe they can put something fun together. So that's kind of cool. We are just going to be picking up Brave Princess on this turn. Hard to turn down Brave Princess on 3.0, and so that is pretty straightforward, even though, I mean, the Wicked Witch as the support for Kitty Cutpurse and our goat could have been interesting. Maybe we could have sold Golden Chicken as well to potentially let that happen, but Golden Chicken on Wonder Waddle is just really strong because you get to skip and just build additional econ there. So gonna go for that. Unfortunately, we will lose this fight against the Pan Shadow, taking a little bit of damage here, but we do get a slay with Brave Princess, and I do think that Crafty is not super bad on Wonder Waddle, because you wind up finding treasures so easily. I'm just gonna wind up grabbing a secret stash here, nothing super crazy. And then I do get to do a pretty cool trick this turn. We only have 1 gold left, but we can grab this Wizard's Familiar, skip the treasure, and then just grab the Crafty. And I kind of do like the 4 Glory too. I feel like if I had cast the 4 Glory, then we would give the Wizard's Familiar +2/+2, and that could potentially allow us to win the combat, but it would also just give us additional stats. But for right now, I'm just going to pick up the 4/4. I think that that is totally fine as well. And we are actually going to wind up losing this fight. So my opponent has some pretty big Vampires here, and just big units overall because of Krampus. We don't get the slay with Kitty Cutpurse, which is a little bit annoying, but we do get some free gold from our secret stash. So that's going to let us roll, try to pick up some doubles on this turn. I'll go for Runestones, and I do like Runestones sometimes on Wonder Waddle because now we could like triple the chicken, find a 3-drop, but we're going to triple our blind mouse and find a 5-cost treasure. And Staff of the Old Toad is definitely the most powerful treasure among these. We could just become Pan Shadow with, I guess, no real upside, just what we've already created so far this game, but Staff of the Old Toad is just a Nombo with Wonder Waddle, so I am going to wind up skipping on that, and we'll just play the Monkey's Paw. Monkey's Paw, still pretty good for us here. We'll definitely allow the Brave Princess to slay, probably allow the Kitty Cutpurse to slay, and then maybe next turn we'll be able to get this Polywoggle to slay as well. We are going to get our Brave Princess to slay this turn, so that's nice. We'll grab a tier 3 treasure, and we're also going to be getting some gold from my opponent's prized pigs. Sorry about that camera issue, by the way. That should be fixed, but unfortunately we don't slay with Kitty Cutpurse, but we do still get 3 bonus gold from this turn, and our tier 3 treasure is a treasure map. I'm not going to experiment with the Cursed Throne. I do briefly consider it, but I think that it's mostly just a trap. But I'll pick up the treasure map, and treasure map can be pretty strong on Wonder Waddle because we are just able to complete treasures so easily, and maybe we can grab another tier 5 treasure by picking up some animals. So we'll pick up this prized pig, and the prized pig also helps us because we are pretty strong right now. Our backline didn't even get to attack last turn, so maybe we can do something fun with that. And I'll pick up the stag as well. I think that the stag plays out well here because it'll be able to pump up the polywoggle, and it will also just be a strong unit for us and potentially find us a tier 5 treasure. Then I see Blaze of Glory, one of the new spells, and I mentioned in my patch notes that Blaze of Glory, I'm probably most commonly going to cast that on Lancelot and Polywoggle, and a 17/7 Polywoggle probably pretty likely to be able to slay here, and then I'll throw the Wizard's Familiar back in. Gonna keep playing the Prized Pig and the Kitty Cuppers, though I think those will be strong enough with the stag and the monkey's paw. Also, interestingly, I sold off my blind mouse, so that way we would potentially be able to find those again. Stag is going to get in, and I do think, yeah, it looks like Polywoggle is going to be able to slay, and Kitty Cuppers would potentially even be able to slay here too. So all of that is great. Fortunately, we don't get to keep our prized pig around, but we got a plenty of extra gold here, plus an upgraded tier 5 unit. I don't really want to pick up Golden Chicken. We could do it just to look for Forking Rod, though I'm not really like settled on like a mage comp. I'd rather complete a treasure for a tier 3 or a tier 4 with the blind mice and grab a tier 6 treasure, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I brought this up at the beginning of the video, but we've got Embiggening Stone as an option here, and Ninth Book of Merlin, one of the best treasures in the game. Ivory Owl, also really strong. A little bit of this is experimenting with the new patch, but I have not been disappointed with Embiggening Stone yet. I've played like 4 or 5 games with it. I've been able to play a bunch of Wonder Waddle on the new patch, so maybe that's been a part of it too. But yeah, Embiggening Stone is like almost an auto pick for me right now. It's just really, really strong and can do some really awesome things. We're going to pick up a doubly, which is great with Embiggening Stone. A little bit less so now. Doubly used to be a... well, I guess it used to be a 30-30, but we are still having a big doubly here because we've got the monkey's paw. So that's giving everything a little bit of additional stats too. And then I'll pick up a donkey and another blind mouse. And I'm also considering this Nutcracker. With 25 health, I do think that it is worth picking up Nutcracker because then we can grab a tier 4 treasure from that. But we're looking to make a bunch of other treasures. We've got all 3 of our tier 1 animals, or tier 3 animals, unupgraded is what I meant to say, that could potentially build into tier 3 treasures still. So this is something that I brought up in my Embiggening Stone video that I put out last Sunday, an Embiggening Stone double feature, that you can kind of use the strength from Embiggening Stone to help you find Hatball. If you're playing Wonder Waddle, you can do that pretty easily. But now there's some other fun things that Embiggening Stone can do. It can pump up Nutcrackers and it can pump up Greedies. And both of those things do seem like they will be pretty powerful. I'm going to sell off some things before picking up those 2 units. I mean, Juliet is also not a bad unit to have a bunch of extra stats on. And now I have to think about, do I want to play like down a unit to still make use of this monkey's paw? Probably want to cut this monkey's paw eventually, so maybe we'll cut that once we pick up a few more treasures. But Prized Pig will find us the crystal ball. And despite not having any mages, I sold off my Wizard's Familiar even. I think that we can still make Crystal Ball work because it is just such a strong treasure. It's an obvious build path, and I think that we'll be able to do something nice with it down the line. And I gotta sell off 1 more of my units to pick up this Shadow Assassin and be able to play 6 units, so that way we get the buff from the Monkey's Paw. And I want to pick up the Shadow Assassin just because it's a ranged unit, a 17-19 ranged unit, pretty big. and will help us keep the pig alive and just, I think, contribute to our overall strength this game. So looking good here against this Potion Master Dwarves player. We're going to get a little bit of extra gold from Greedy, but unfortunately, everything else is just going to attack into this Tweedle. So we're not going to get any Nutcracker hits, we're not going to get any prized pig gold, and we are still going to wind up tying the combat, which is totally fine, but we just don't get too much extra. We donate a little bit to the lobby leader, but everybody's donating on this one. Another Shadow Assassin could be kind of cool just because it's a ranged unit, but Aeon plus Crystal Ball is really good, and we've already kickstarted this Aeon with the Embiggening Stone and the Monkey's Paw, so we're kind of already in a good spot to take advantage of mages. And I'm looking to potentially replace this Monkey's Paw as soon as possible, because I do think that it would be nice to just find another treasure and actually play 7 units. I think that that is ultimately going to be stronger for us, but for this turn I'll just cast a Beauty's Influence on Aeon. That's a really good spell just to get Aeon good, so that way we can potentially do some fun things with that down the road. And I wind up not doing anything else super crazy here. I think I do play this. I mean, I guess I could sell the Rotten Apple Tree just to bench like the Donkey or the Greedy. Oh yeah, I'll bench the Nutcracker. I'm not really slaying with the Nutcracker, and just getting a few more stats on Aeon I do think is kind of important. So +6/+6 on the Aeon we will get from playing down a unit here. I think that that is worthwhile. Now we can see this Aeon can slay against Soltak, though the Soltak grew a little bit there at the end from their Drac Saber. But I think that now that we have slayed with the Aeon, we are going to have our spells cost 1 cheaper next turn, and that is just really nice to get this ball rolling, so to speak, this crystal ball. So now we are looking to find a donkey and a stag to potentially replace the Monkey's Paw, and I cut the tree last turn, but I mean, it is our only prince, our only royal, so we'll pick that up. And then we see an interesting shop here. We've got stag and we've got double Aeon, and I pick up the stag first. I think that this is fine because I'm looking to replace the Monkey's Paw right now. I'm not really looking to replace the Embiggening Stone, but I'm just going to go ahead and skip on this treasure because I'm probably picking up both of these Aeons. And this is great because now my Aeon is going to have +30/+30 because of the Embiggening Stone, and I'm going to grab Evil Eye and toss the Monkey's Paw. There's potentially some fun things that we can do with Evil Eye now that Baba Yaga is a mage. I'm definitely looking to pick those up, and I don't really want to play the Monkey's Paw this turn. I want to play the full 7 units, but the cool thing about this is that we've got a 46/59 Aeon with barely having any spells cast so far this game, so really sweet. We are going to have a slightly smaller doubly this turn, but we've got an Aeon that is primed to slay, and we'll grab a Wizard's Familiar as well. That'll be pretty strong, and then I think I'm going to sell Nutcracker to either Toil and Trouble or maybe Roll. I think I'm just doing it to, or maybe I don't do it at all. Okay, I wind up selling the Golden Chicken to Roll and just cast a few more spells. Whatever, it's fine. All of those are pretty reasonable plays just while we have a slight discount on Aeon, but now we're going to have a bigger discount on Aeon in future turns that we will be able to take advantage of. So spells are going to cost 2 less this turn, so we're basically half-balling, and then we're getting a little bit of extra gold from Greedy, from my opponent's Earthquake, and from the prized pig, because that will survive as well. So that is pretty sweet. We've got 17 gold going into this turn, and at this point, I'm not really super concerned with doublies either. I really just want Baba Yaga and other mages, and then to cast as many spells as we can outside of that. So that's really what I am going to look for here. We are, interestingly, up against the Ghost, so there's some potential interesting things that we can make happen with that. I wind up picking up a donkey and not finding anything. I don't really know what I was even looking for there, to be totally honest, because we don't even really need Hat at this point of the game. I mean, I'd probably take it just to play on the safe side of things, but we find an upgrade on Golden Chicken just to get a little bit more econ and get back into it that way. We will find a Baba Yaga, so that is great. We're going to use that to support Aeon and our Vampire, though the Vampire is just kind of for fun. Then we find another Baba Yaga, so I'm going to sell the Golden Chicken and I'm going to sell off this Greedy. And now we will be able to double support the Aeon and with Evil Eye. So every time that Aeon slays, my spells cost 2 less. So Aeon's going to slay, Baba Yaga is going to pump it up, Evil Eye is going to pump up the Baba Yaga, and then we've got another Baba Yaga, which is also affected by Evil Eye. So all in all, 2 times 5, that is going to make our spells cost 10 less next turn, assuming that we can slay with Aeon, which up against the Ghost, feeling pretty good about my chances. That's why I move Aeon to the 2nd position. Could get a little bit scary with my opponent's Sharebear, though. It avoids the Aeon, luckily enough for us, so our spells cost 10 less next turn, and that is just the power of Baba Yaga as a mage. Obviously, that was always something that Baba Yaga could do, but now all of those spells that we cast that cost 10 less are also going to pump up the Baba Yagas, and that is really the strength of Baba Yaga now becoming a mage. We're actually going to get another Slay with Aeon, so our spells cost 20 less next turn. Pretty insane stuff that we get to do against this summons comp. And we'll also walk away with some extra gold from the spinning gold. So we'll see what we can do. I think we also, no, we sold off the Golden Chickens, that's right. I'm going to pick up Lancelot to start things off and cast a spell on it before realizing it's already at 25 because of the Embiggening Stone, so we don't really even need more help from that. I'm just going to throw all spells other than True Love's Kiss. We'll throw that on the Vampire, I suppose. And we get a Court Wizard from that, which is pretty sweet because Court Wizard is a mage, is a ranged mage unit. So we're kind of set for mages at this point and doing pretty strong. This is a turn where I do make a little bit of a mistake. Pick up the Blind Mouse looking for a Forking Rod. That's not a mistake. Grab Horn of Olympus because we've got Evil Eye. Again, just kind of experimenting here because this is the new patch and we're so far ahead of the rest of the lobby at this point, but this is, I think, is the biggest mistake of the turn, picking up the Lightning Dragon. That 4 gold definitely should have just been spent rolling for more spells while everything costs 20 less this turn, but I will pick up another Spellweaver before casting Candy Rain, and you can see now with 2 Spellweavers, a Wizard's Familiar, and an Aeon, we can actually play a board full of mages. Didn't really need to play this Lightning Dragon. I'm not going to try to grab a Riverwash Mermaid or anything and put together a silly comp like that. It could be fun to do, but I think that it's just going to be stronger just to play mages and avoid all of that other stuff. So this time Aeon is only being triggered 3 times. So my spells are going to cost 6 less this next turn, but that is still plenty. And we're also going to walk away with a win. Not a kill, probably because we messed around a little bit too much. We don't get to kill Sharon, but we will also get a tier 5 treasure from Lance here. And yeah, we're just all over the place. At this point, I've basically figured out that buying the Lightning Dragon was a mistake and I don't want the horn. So I just take Hand of Midas, and that won't affect the Wizard's Familiar. You get to pick that up just fine. I kind of like the Hermes boots, actually, still. And I debate taking Burning Tree, because it would be an upgraded Burning Tree, and we could immediately cast the other spell on it. We could have then grabbed an upgraded Ashwood Elm or something, and been Slay Tree Mages and just had all the comps going on, but I am just going to focus on this Slay Mage comp for right now. And part of the reason that I grabbed Hand of Midas was thinking that a Storm King could be cool. We could sell 3 units to make that work. I do cast Knighthood because it only costs 6, by the way, so Knighthood on the Baba Yaga I felt like was a fine gold investment, but a little bit awkward here, everything that we're kind of doing. It's a little bit all over the place. I told you this was a little bit of a chaotic game, but we're going to grab an upgraded Storm King to basically end off this turn. And again, not sure I needed to do this. I think that while my spells were so cheap, it was probably just better to roll and spend all of my cash towards spells, but now we've got a Storm King. Now we are definitely full build. In future turns, all spells can go towards, or all coin can go towards casting spells and rolling for spells. We're not going to need any coin to cast our spells as long as we get first attack, or even if we get second attack, because nothing my opponent has can attack into Aeon at this point. But now we've got an upgraded Baba Yaga with an Evil Eye. So again, it's always going to be a 2x multiplier, but we've got Aeon slaying, and then we've got Baba Yaga supporting it. So that is 2 more slays, and then Evil Eye supporting Baba Yaga. So 5 times 2, that's going to make our spells cost 10 less still on this turn. And then we've just got a ranged backline. My opponent's Ancient Sarcophagus has really got it out for my Baba Yaga, but it is ultimately going to wind up surviving, and we'll hit my opponent for 12 down to 7. And now we've got really cheap spells that I definitely want to try to take advantage of this turn, and we'll see what we can do. Merlin's Test, just throw all this stuff out there. We don't really have anything great to shard because I want to keep all of these units on the board. And then we start to get to do something cool here. I said we were done buying units, but we can take Spellweaver, skip the treasure, so it only cost us 1, and I'm even going to skip Merlin's Hat. Even though it would be good for us, I just want the coin. And now we can cast free Evil Twins, which is really sweet. I'll roll a Drink Me potion, look for some more stuff here before going Blaze of Glory on Aeon, cast another Evil Twin on Aeon, and yeah, this is just super sweet. When your spells cost 10 less, you can cast Evil Twin for free. I think I showed that off briefly in the patch notes, but just think that that is really fun. So what I'm going to do here, something a little bit silly, I want to cast this Mix-a-Wizzle just because I want to cast the spells, because all of my spells grow the board. So I'm going to cast that on my Storm King. We're up against the Ghost, so I'm not super concerned with being strong enough or anything like that, and we can play this Aeon instead of the Good Boy anyways. And I didn't want to Mix-a-Wizzle anything else because Storm King will grow no matter what as long as you cast spells, so I figured let's just cast anything. And we are going to get another Slay with Aeon, so our spells cost 10 less, and then another 5 less. So our spells cost 15 less this turn. So all of our spells will be free. We just have to put all of our gold into rolling for some more spells. So that is the plan, and we'll see what we can put together on what is probably this final turn against Sharon. And we'll get to throw this Storm King back in there as well, and we'll see what kind of madness we can come up with on the last turn. Another Evil Twin is going to give us an upgrade for Aeon, so we actually make gold on this one. We could take Drax Saber. It's not terrible. I'm gonna go Staff of the Old Toad. That was definitely a mistake too, because we're not casting, or we're not spending any more cash on units, but just messing around here on this final turn, and again, kind of experimenting a little bit with the new patch, and just got some weird ideas brewing in there, but we're going to put some nice stuff together here. I throw one Mix-a-Wizzle on an Aeon, and I throw another one on a Wizard's Familiar. That's going to give us a Jormungand and a doubly, or a triply rather, before we dream. And Merlin is probably the best thing to dream into here, but at this point, this is the final combat of the game, so I'm just going to take Fallen Angel because it will give us +2 attack on all of our units. We've got 3 evil units because our Jormungand is evil, because it is made up of evil twinned Aeons at the base level. So this is going to wind up being our final board, and it's a pretty interesting, kind of colorful final board for a mage comp to have so many different units. We've got a good Aeon, an evil Jormungand, a Storm King, a Triply, a Baba Yaga, a Spellweaver, and a Court Wizard. And Aeon is definitely going to be big enough to slay against this Animals comp, assuming that it doesn't get taken out there. And that's going to be a bunch of slays. That's going to grow our Jormungand, and this is something kind of fun that you can do with Baba Yaga now as well. And my opponent is going to be summoning a lot of things here, but our units, I think, are just going to be too big. Might depend on I mean, at this point, it doesn't depend on anything. I don't know what they'd have to summon there, but a copycat is definitely not going to do it. It will be enough to take out Jormungand, but it will not be enough to take out my other units. And my opponent only at 4 life means that we only have to just barely win this one as well. So that will be a victory against Sharon, and a pretty sweet one, with Baba Yaga as the new mage, also getting to take a look at the new Embiggening Stone. I think is also sweet, but that is going to be it for me today for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.